During his fight with Urashiki, Boruto Jougan activated, right? Allowing Boruto to basically tell where Urashiki was going to appear whenever Urashiki would use his Renegon's time-space ninjutsu abilities to travel between dimensions. And the question remains, like, how was Boruto able to do this? Well, I think I have the answer, and I'm going to be talking about it in today's video. But I just like to say, like, this answer is just like my interpretation of what I think is happening. But anyways, I'm going to get into the answer to this question, right? How was Boruto able to tell where Urashiki was going to appear? The answer is pretty simple. It's because Boruto Jougan allows him to see rifts between dimensions, which basically allowed Boruto to tell where Urashiki was going to appear whenever Urashiki would utilize his Renegon's time-space ninjutsu to travel between dimensions, right? And allow me to explain this further on right now. So going back to an early episode of the Boruto anime, Boruto episode 114, right? Coming to the end of this episode, we see Boruto, Mitsuki, and Sumire trying to escape the New Age dimension, right? And as they're running, they see the portal to escape, right? To go back to their world or their dimension, right? And then it just vanishes, right? And as soon as it vanishes, Boruto Jougan activates, and then he's able to see into their world or their dimension, right? He sees Shikadai, Denki, and the others, they're calling out to him, right? Boruto, where are you? And then, he just says, like, we need to go in this direction, and he just runs through, and then they end up back in their world. So basically, in that moment, what was happening is that Boruto Jougan was allowing him to see a rift between two dimensions, right? The rift was created by the New Wave. So the New Wave created the rift, and Boruto was able to see the rift. Nobody else can see this. Like, this is an ability that's unique to Boruto Jougan. This is the first time we're ever seeing something like this, right? So Boruto was able to see the rift created between two dimensions, and in this case, he was able to see directly through the rift. But when he was fighting Urashiki, he couldn't see directly through the rift. So those are two of his abilities. Like, if you got that, like, he can see rifts between dimensions, and he can also see directly through certain rifts between dimensions. So yeah, that's basically how I came up with the idea that, Boruto can see rifts between dimensions because of that event where he was able to stay in the New Age dimension and see what was happening in his dimension, right? Now, jumping back to the situation with Urashiki and Boruto being able to tell where he was going to appear whenever Urashiki would use his time-space ninjutsu to travel between dimensions. It's basically similar to the situation with the New Age dimension that I mentioned earlier, but it's just that Boruto wasn't able to see directly through the rift as he did back then in New Age dimension. So in this situation, I think what was happening is that Boruto, his Jogan allows him to see these rifts between dimensions, right? So Urashiki, him using his time-space ninjutsu to travel between dimensions. So like, he's coming through to this dimension, right? And he's creating this rift. So the rift is being created, right? Boruto's Jogan then allows him to see the rift being created. So Boruto is able to tell where Urashiki is gonna come out because he's seeing the rift being created before Urashiki actually physically appears in the dimension. And I just like to say, like, this ability of Boruto's to see, these rifts in dimension and to see people coming through them and stuff like that, it's sort of like a future sight ability in a way. It depends on how you look at it. For Boruto, it's like, normal vision, right? It's like his normal vision with his Jogan, right? But for a normal person, example Shinki, because Shinki was there during the fight against Urashiki with Boruto, right? It appeared to Shinki like, Boruto was seeing the future because Shinki's like, you can tell where he's gonna appear, and Boruto's like, yeah. So if you look at it in different contexts, it's like Boruto's essentially seeing the future. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's been your boy Sajo here. Have a blessed day, guys. Stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.